Okay, hello year 4 again. Welcome back. This is lesson 3 in our topic area and perimeter. Going to have a look at our learning outcome for today would be then to know the difference between the area and perimeter, and to also know that area is measured in square units. Okay, this topic is something we've touched on earlier on in the year, so you should be able to draw on some of that experience as well. If you've forgotten or you don't know for whatever reason, then we can sort that out today as well. Okay, so ready to start for this lesson, you're going to need a pencil, a ruler, and some paper or a book. If you haven't got any of those things, or please press pause, go and grab them, and come straight back. Okay, so be prepared. Here comes the lesson. The agenda for today is we're going to go over some key learning vocabulary, not unlike what we've already done for the last couple of lessons. We're going to practice how to calculate the area of a shape using multiplication and give our answer in units squared. There's an independent task, and then we provide the answers at the end as well. Okay, and then be a final knowledge quiz to see what you remembered. I'll probably post this then for tomorrow. Okay, and hopefully that'll conclude this topic, and then we'll be moving on then to something else. Okay, so like I said, the key learning to understand the area is a measure of surface, and it is measured in square units. Our key vocabulary, feel free to say it along with me or just read it in your head. Area, length, breadth, width, distance, and unit squared. Okay, so let's get started with our first activity. Nice and straightforward. Something you all love to do, I know I do. It's doubling and halving these numbers. Okay, so look at the table. Now you don't have to draw this table, but feel free if you wish. You've got some paper. Please try to draw it with a ruler. Even though you're not submitting it, it's always nice to for good practice. Okay, so I'll do a waggle for you. We all remember what waggle means. What a good one looks like. What a good one looks like. Okay, so we've got the number 12. And the question is asking us then to double it. So if I was to double 12, what number would I be left with? Now, I normally double with partitioning. So we've got a 10 and we've got a 2. So if we were to double 10, we'd have 20. And if we were to double 2, we'd have 4. We'd add them together. 20 plus 4 gives us 24. And then similarly, on the other side of this, we've got number, and then we've got the word half. We've got the word number and we've got the word half. So what we'd want to do there is, when we've halved, we don't know the number, that's blank. So once we've halved what this mystery number, we've left with 10. So I would just work backwards. So if half of that number is 10, double 10 gives us 20. Therefore, this number would have originally been 20. So the number is 20. If you halve it, we've got 10. Okay, so you guys press pause and you try and finish the rest of these, and I'll get back to you with some answers, hopefully. Okay, welcome back, you lot. How did you get on? Fairly straightforward. I'm sure you guys did it in very, very short amount of time. Although some of you may have got a little bit confused on the last aisle, because we're still dealing with, and we haven't done this a lot, but we have done it a little bit in school, our decimal points. And a simpler way of doing this, now let me just, I'll use a red pen. Okay, let's go here. So we've got 10.5, and we've doubled 10.5, we've had 21. So if you were unsure of how to do that one, we know we'll split up the number, we'll partition the number off again. So we've got a 10 and we've got a 0.5. Okay, and remember, in doubling, what are we doing to the number? We're multiplying it by 2. Excellent. So 10 multiplied by 2 equals 20. We know that, nice and simple. But 0.5 multiplies by 2. So 0.5 then is also known as half. Okay, so half of something is 0.5. Half of a pizza is 0.5 of a pizza. So we know if you have 2 halves of a pizza, then you have a whole pizza. So therefore, if you've got the number 0.5 and you times that by 2, that gives you 1. And then the simple thing to do then is to add them both together. So we've got 20 plus 1 gives us, oops, that is a plus, equals 21. Got it. Perfect. And then similarly, if we wanted to look at 31, how are we gonna do the second part? So we've got 31 and we need to half it. So we already know how to double a half, and we just got to do the opposite, don't we? So we've got 1. If you had 1 pizza and you were to divide that by 2 of you, we're talking about pizzas, I'm getting hungry now. Anyway, if you had 1 pizza and we shared it between you and your best friend, you would have half each. So you'd both have 0.5 of a pizza. Okay, so when we half 1, it gives us 0.5. And also then if we half 30, that gives us 15, doesn't it? Okay, so we've done our partitioning, we've halved 30 and we've halved our 1. Okay, so let's add them both together. So 15 plus 0.5 gives us 15.5. And that's how we got this answer. Okay, let's get on with this then. So the next activity, we're going to have a look at the next slide, and that's going to be area. And just a quick definition then. We all know perimeter, we know it really well by now. And I'm sure you guys have been working out the perimeter of lots of wonderful things around your house. And remember, in our first lesson, we talked about our buying a fence for our beach so we can keep all the pesky year 5 kids out and the year 3 kids out. Yeah, so we bought a fence and we put it all around our beach, keep them out. But what then would we do if we need to know, oh, I need some more sand to fill up my beach and make it nice and sandy. How much sand do I need to buy? Would the perimeter be useful to you here? That's a good question. If I know the perimeter, can I then go and buy sand? Not really. You're going to be left with not enough sand, in fact. So the area then is the surface. If you have a look down here, there's a definition. The area is the surface of the shape. So if the perimeter is the outside of the shape or the boundary of the shape, like my arrows here, then the area must be the inside of the shape. All this here. Now if you imagine this to be like a table in a restaurant, and if you've ever seen a waiter cleaning the table of a restaurant, he's got a spray bottle and he's got a bit of cloth and he or she is wiping it down, that person, he's cleaning the area of that table. Okay, so that solid top of it where you guys eat and drink and you've got your food on the table, that all is, we'll call the area. And if you wanted to buy a tablecloth for that table, you'd have to know how big it is. Otherwise you might come back with something too small or way too big. Okay, so I hope that's clear. That's what area is, and that's what we're going to be looking at and calculating today. So, how can we represent a rectangle that measures 3 units by 2 units? Now we know from our last lesson that we're just using the word units because we're not quite sure how big or small your paper is. It could be 1 centimeter, it could be 1 millimeter. That's a very different size. So we'll just use the word units in place of any centimeters or millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to you can pause the video and have a go and see if you can make a rectangle which is 3 units by 2 units. Okay, so 3 units by 2. And we'll get back together and we'll see what we come up with. Hey, year 4. Okay, welcome back. How did you get on? Well, this is what I've done. And this is what I would do anyway. We've got 3 units by 2 units. So there's 2 rectangles, 2 oblong rectangles here. And if you look, we've got 1, 2, 3 units. And then we've got 1, 2 going down. So it's 3 units by 2 units. Okay, and then similarly at the bottom, then we've got 2 units by 3 units. Pardon my drawing. Okay, now what I want you to do is have a look. So we've got 3 units. We've definitely got 6 in here. Let's count them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 units. So our area here is 6 units. Okay. So we've got to have a think now. I'm going to highlight a couple of numbers and a couple of things. I want you to have a think about what's going on here. Okay. So we've got 3 here. We've got 2 along here. So it's 3 by 2. And I've underlined the word by. So 3 by 2, and we've also got 6. Is there a relationship between those four bits of information I've just highlighted? Can you think of anything? Okay, so I have 2 rows of 3, and my total is 6. That means that the area is 6 units. So what I've done here, when we go back here, let's have a look at this word again, by. If I change that to 3 times 2 equals 6 units, or equals 6. Can you see how we can use the multiplication tables? And that's how simple it is with area. And again, look below here, we've got 2 by 3, which could be changed to 2 times 3, also equals 6. So we've got 6 units there. And if you have a look at this whole thing, it looks like our array diagrams, which we did earlier on in the year. And again, we use array for multiplication tables. So, yes, simple as that. Literally, to find the area, we just do a multiplication. Simple multiplication as well. Let's move on. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so here's a quick reminder. The area is the inside then of the shape. It covers all of this area along here. Okay, perimeter is the outside. So how is area measured? So we all know our regular units of measure: millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers. But there's something different we do, something extra even that we do with area. We also use this little floating 2. Okay, and that just means that we're dealing with area. Okay, that means that there's 2 aspects that we're thinking about here. We're thinking about these 2 numbers. It could be the length and the breadth of it, the length and the width of it. So there's 2 bits of information that we're calculating, we're adding to multiplying together to give us our final figure. Okay, so if you said to me, I'm looking for some paint, like red paint, to cover my wall, and I said to you, what color? And you said red, and I said how much, and you would say 15 meters squared or 20 meters squared. I would know then you've taken a calculation and you multiplied your 2 sides, length and your breadth or your width, and you've come up with that number, and this should be accurate. Okay, so in life, in everyday life, then we use maps and floor plans of a building. If you're ever looking at buying a house or renting a place, you would look at a floor plan and they'll give you sort of the area of the house or the kitchen. If you want to build a kitchen and you want to buy a washing machine and a dishwasher and you've got worktops, you need to know the area of everything, including the whole room, to know if you can fit everything. And this is how companies like IKEA, who will fit in kitchens and bedrooms and living rooms, this is how they work. And that's how you will probably, one day when you are buying houses and appliances, you will probably need to know how much space your washing machine is, because if you come back with a huge monstrous washing machine and you don't have a space, you'll be in trouble. Okay, so like we said, area is measured in units squared. So in this example, we've got how many across? So let's measure across. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll use a different color to show you that. We also include this square as well. So then go in down, and we've got 1 and 2. Okay, so we'll count this again, this square. If you're unsure of counting this again, we will count it again. Okay, so we've got 5 across and 2 down. Okay, 5 across and 2 down. And then 5 times 2, easy, oops, times 2 equals 10. 10 units squared. Don't forget our unit squared. I'm just going to write un squared. So then you get the idea. So don't forget our floating 2. That shows us that we're dealing with area. And you've taken the two lengths, the two measurements into account. Okay, so what would you do then if we've got 3 times 5 here, we've got 3 across and 5 down. What would you do? What would the answer be if we had 3 across and 7 down? It's not difficult at all, is it? Just 3 times 7. I know all you mathematicians and you multiplication experts will already be screaming at the screen that there is 21 units squared. I'm going to write UN because I'm lazy and I haven't got space. Okay, and yes, guys, it's simple as that. So, a little activity for you. I've given you a floor plan of somebody's property. Now, we've got, it looks like a property on a Minecraft, but I'm not very good at drawing, so we've got, let me erase that, that's not right. So we've got your housing, these are your buildings of different types, and you've got a garden here, there's all grass, hedges, nice big garden, you've got some water streams going along here, so you can, it's a nice, lovely, nice big garden. I wouldn't mind being in that garden at the moment. I would like you to figure out, using what we've just learned, multiplications, figure out the area of each of these numbers. So I'm going to do one with you, just as a waggle again. Okay, we all remember what waggle stands for, so I'll do a waggle for you. Let's look at number. What number can we pick? Let's pick a number 4. Okay, so we're going to look at number 4. So number 4, we've got, let me erase this, it's getting in the way a bit. Okay, so number 4 is this shape here. Okay, so to find the area of number 4 is just the brown squares. So I know I'm going to count across. We've got 1, 2, 3 across and 1, 2 down. Okay, so we got 3 across by 2. So 3 by 2, or 3 times 2, gives us how much? Excellent. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 what, I ask? 6 units squared. And that's as simple as that. What would you do then if you had 3 by 1? Three by 1 just means 3 times 1. And what's 3 times 1? Yeah. 3 units squared. Okay? So don't let number 7 fool you. 1 times 1, it is exactly how we feel it is, we think it is. And that's basically all you have to do. And let's move on to the next one. And these will be your answers. Hopefully you've paused it and you've gone and done it and you haven't just played it. So these are your answers. Remembering our unit squared. I hope you guys understand that. We'll be going over a few other things with you in our Zoom lessons as well to supplement this. So you don't have to worry too much. That is all we have for today. That's your lesson done. Thank you. You've reached the end. Remember then, area is the measure of the surface of anything. If you wanted to buy a new tablecloth, some paint for your walls, if you wanted to buy carpet for your floor, or anything in between, anything else you can think of. If you want to clean a table, you can see that the waiter cleans the surface area, so that's the area of it. That's all we do for perimeter.